Ich war kein Thief, football gods, we're here to light the fire. Spin facts and stats, you know we never tire. Bringing the heat up, that action won't retire. Busting through the mic, our voices never expire. We ignite the spirit, never fading out. Light the torch, USC fans rise up high. On this podcast, we aim for the sky. Knowledge and entertainment never lie. Together we stand, let the truth that will fight.
And welcome everyone to another episode of the Light the Torch podcast. I'm your host, B. Jones, and I got my boys with me. Let me go ahead and introduce you guys to the crew. To the left of me, we have Blackie Chan of Blackie Chan Gaming right here on X and Twitch. Make sure you give him a follow. Bottom right, we have Mr. Gunnar Atterbury. You can follow him here on Views from the Stands on YouTube and on TikTok. Make sure you go sub. And to the left of him, we have Mr. Raul Flores. You can follow him on X as well. Make sure you go do that, man. Run his likes up, man. Go ahead and give him a follow. My boy need the followers, man. Help him out. All right.
Or not.
So,
it's up to you guys.
All right, man. A lot to get into. Obviously, the game did not go as planned for us. We were expecting this day to be a celebration, but things didn't turn out that way. Factors that went into why it didn't go our way. And we will get into that shortly. But the first one I would like to talk about before we even get into that is the officiating of this game. This was different. I'm almost convinced that the refs were paid off, man. I'm talking about this is blatantly obvious calls. And it almost felt like Michigan knew that they could get away with this stuff. Right? Right? I mean, Trojan Blade put out a post earlier, man. She's showing pictures of all the holds and all that stuff. A video, the Mackay hit, that was just, man, that looked like a hit job. Right? Like, that was ridiculous, man. And I don't know if I ever seen a Big Ten game officiated that way. I watch a good amount of Big Ten football, so I can't even sit here and say that, oh, no, that's just how Big Ten football is. I can't say that. So, Michigan being Michigan, I would not be surprised if some foul play, man. Some foul play was involved. But either way, those are the things that we cannot control. So, in situations like that, the team has to do their very best to take advantage of the things that we can control. Right, because that's just what it's going to be for us. So we can't use that as an excuse. But very interesting play officiating there. But Trojan fans, look, man, stop the nonsense. The season is long from over, man. This is the new 12 team system. We can afford to drop a couple and still make the playoffs. We have everything in front of us. You see where they ranked us. We're still in this thing, man. Relax. And if I hear listen, man, if I see anybody in these comments with some Danton Lynn slander by any means, you might get blocked tonight. Because that is just ridiculous. I'm seeing people on Twitter blaming Danton Lynn. Defense played lights out, man. If you know anything about football. But anyways, that's my little rant about our fans. But how you guys feeling, man? Talk to me. How you guys feel about the officiating?
I'm pissed. I mean, I'm still pissed. Just as pissed as I was yesterday, to be quite frank with you. Officiating was trash. I don't want to blame the refs for the loss because we had the chance to win it ourselves. And even with all the BS refs, it's unfortunate we didn't pull out the victory. But yeah, the refs were terrible and hope they fucking get their shit together because they can't be officiating us like that moving forward. I mean, I understand missing a few calls here and there. They're not always the easiest to see, but the Mackay hit, how can you miss that? Like, it was so obvious, and you don't call anything there. That's just one of them. Like, how can you miss that? I mean, guy got knocked out on concussion. out the game, which could have been a huge factor. We were struggling. He could have been a potential X factor for the remainder of the game with short passes down the middle. But yeah, I'm pissed, man. It's not gonna get better until we play next week and we get the victory.
Yep. Guns, you got thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just overall proud of the team just for the fight in the second half. Obviously, the first half, and we'll go into the details of that. It just wasn't our standard. But yeah, proud of the team and just fight. Yeah, officiating was obviously awful, but like you said, it's something we can't control. So it's just it is what it is on my end.
Right. BC.
So I tend to try not to put a lot of blame on the refs because of course we can't control what they do. But I just think that there was just some egregious calls that were out there that they kind of missed. And I came out, I was pissed off yesterday. I couldn't look at social media at all. I had to just shut myself away from football in general. But I came out thinking to myself after that, like, I'm 8 or 9 times out of 10 we beat Michigan, and I'm having a lot of issues on my screen. It looks like I'm freezing everywhere, but I just came out optimistic. But there's no moral victories. A loss is a loss. We just got to move on forward. The long season. This is literally the 3rd game that we played. So we just got to win out, and there's still a clear path for us to get to the championships or to get to the playoffs and the championship. So not worried about it. For the longest time, we were saying this is probably going to be one of our toughest games, and it proved to be that because we were going against a stout defense and a stout refereeing team. So,
Right. Yep. Guns, you said something yesterday, man, that all of us need to hear and remember. Matter of fact, let's do this. In the chat, everybody put the hand raise emoji if you had us going undefeated 3 months ago. Well, we know you are. Everyone outside of Roll, because Roll definitely had said we're going to be undefeated.
That's some bullshit, man. We should still be undefeated, man.
I mean,
all right, we're gonna get there. Calm down.
I mean, you're not wrong. We should be undefeated right now, but
it's not as bad as it seems, man. Thank you. Gabe called it. We all had one loss, right?
I blame you, Gabe. I blame you, Gabe. All this is how it was gonna end up being, man.
So Gabe jinxed us, huh?
hey,
No,
Rolls, does it bother you being called a homer?
No, I don't care. I could
Okay.
care less what people think of me. I could care less. I don't care.
Real quick, yes. Shout out to Woody Marks for not
Absolutely.
giving up on a play.
Hey,
I was
Marks-
like, honestly, I thought it was a forward pass, but the fact that we still got an extra pair of downs and we still scored a touchdown, I'm fine with. But
Yeah.
shout outs to Woody Marks with that never say die mentality in that play.
Yeah. And
Yes.
Gabe, I'm just messing with you, man.
Is
I
he
don't blame you. No, I am messing. Come on, guys. But yeah, I mean, I had us going undefeated after what I saw in practice and stuff like that. I didn't think I still don't think Michigan's this great of a team. I think they got. I mean, they have a good defensive team. Don't get me wrong, but I still think we're the better team. We just didn't adjust sooner, and the refs were giving them everything, so they got lucky basically.
Yep. They definitely
All right,
got a lot wrong with them, man.
Do we want to jump into the first quarter?
Yeah, let's talk about all right, actually, yeah. Let's talk about our defense, man. Go ahead and give your defensive grades and defensive MVP. Starting with, why don't you go first, Bucky Chan?
All right. Defensive grade. I wish I can go by like first half and second half, because first half is actually I'm still not mad at the first half because there was some, of course, some missed gaps, I guess you can say. I'll give our defense a B plus for that. They really helped. Like, I know we gave up 239 or 200 plus rushing yards, but that's to expected when a team runs 98% of the time. Like, you better get some rushing yards if you're going to be running that much. So I'll give him a B plus because we like, they thought Orangey was going to run all over us and he didn't. And besides 3 big rushing plays, they didn't really get too much on us. Like, if you can take those out, they probably break maybe 115 yards, or actually not even, probably about 115 yards rushing without those big chunk yards. They don't run that off. They wouldn't have ran that much on us, and it would have been a blowout in that situation. But of course, that it is what it is. We can't take it back now. But MVP, I'd have to say it's Gentry. Like, it's hard not to at this point. You can say Kamari Ramsey was definitely a big key for us in this. But I'm going to go with Eric Gentry, and I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if everyone else took that answer.
All right, well, let's hear from everyone else now. Starting with Raul. Raul.
He's frozen.
Hold on, my internet's tripping.
Yeah.
All right, well, Raul's going to get back to us. Guns.
Yeah, so I gotta agree with like Chan on the grade, B plus. And the reason that it's not an A minus or in the A's, I mean, I think that the team played very well on the defensive side. It was 3 to 4 plays. I mean, we did miss tackles, 10. You know, that is double digit number. Does hurt a little bit in my opinion, especially towards the end. But the adjustments were made. I was a little surprised that we didn't go with the 5-man front at first, but again, there was only 2 big plays in the first half, but the adjustment helped a lot. It forced them to get more 3-and-outs and get us the ball more. And when you're looking at stats, it's pretty surprising. We were actually their defense, Michigan, was actually on the field more than our defense, which is pretty surprising when looking at the overall stats. But yeah, and then MVP, it's obviously Gentry. I mean, Gentry was everywhere. That fumble was just insane. I was literally jumping up in the air in my living room. Yeah, so what a game. What a performance.
Yeah. Raul, you back? You ready?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, guys. My internet's is pissed as well. But yeah, defense, I give it a B plus. I feel like, the defense played great with the exception of those long runs. So I don't know why we're seeing all these USC fans crying about it online that the defense was terrible and whatnot. No, we didn't get bullied on the defensive side at all. If anything, it was the other way around. I mean, the defense gave up those 2 long runs in the first half because they were gassed out. I mean, they hardly got any breaks in the first half, so that played a big role on why they ended up, allowing those 2 huge runs at the end. Of course, it was, they ended up allowing a big run, and that's the reason why I gave it a B plus. If it wasn't for that last long run, I'd probably give them an A minus. But yeah, overall, I thought the defense played great, and they deserve a lot of credit because if it wasn't for the defensive side, we wouldn't have been in it at all, and we almost ended up winning that game. So a B plus. I think they'll learn from this as well, what adjustments they can make. So overall, I thought they played great, and then Gentry was the best player out there. I did call MVP on the last show that Gentry would be the guy. So Gentry proved me right.
Yeah, man. That's an easy pick. No, but yeah, Gentry's been balling, man. He lights out, and he's by far been the best player, like Gabe mentioned, on offense or defense. So, but honorable mention for me, Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
Remember, I said it last year that he was arguably our best player on defense last year. In this game, he showed up, man, like he always does. So yeah, that honorable mention to him, man. You definitely got to give him a shout out. But
For real quick, sorry, I
Yeah.
want to give an honorable mention to Jacoby Covington as well, number 14. He did really well on the edge too, especially when they would do the swing, just any kind of swing passes out there. He was all out there by himself, and he literally posted up a blocker out there and just shedded him real quick too. And I think Jalen Smith also did the same thing too. But our DBs did a good job, at least on the cornerbacks.
Yep. Look, I'm very pleased with our defense, man. That was a tough task, and they handled it well, but as well as they could. It's a very few teams that can handle that. That has the depth to even go that long with them just running the ball. We know that we didn't have that depth coming in positions of need. So I'm not worried about it for what they are. They did very well, and there's definitely signs of life on that defense, man. That they can be elite. You know what I mean? So there's a lot moving forward, man, that I'm pretty happy about. For my overall grade, I'm gonna agree with you guys and go with the B. So I wouldn't even be mad at an A minus, but if it wasn't for those big runs, I'd probably have to give him an A plus. So yeah. Those of you guys bashing Dancing Lane, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw those tweets.
Wait, you saw actual bashing
my
Danton Lynn?
Yes.
I didn't. I haven't been on the
Right.
interwebs since. I guess I haven't seen all of those ignorant people out there.
Apparently, Patrick Mahomes got picked off. But
Glad I didn't pick him.
yeah, man. Yeah, that was the most ridiculous thing I've seen all weekend. I think I was more mad at that than the actual game.
If do they not realize if we had Alex Grinch as their defensive coordinator, that would have looked a lot worse. We would have been blown out. They would have had 500 yards. No, okay, sorry. They would have had about 400 yards rushing, and then Alex Orgy would have had 250 yards passing. So this if this was Alex Grinch this time right now, I don't think we would have went live. At least I don't think I would have been live because I would have been pissed or probably unalive myself watching this team.
Yeah, man. Disappointed in the SC fans for that, man.
Yeah.
We are much better than that. The real ones, at least.
Yeah.
I'll just assume those fans, all the fans that come around once the season starts, don't really know what's going on. They can't even tell you the players' names. They're still calling them by their numbers.
Yeah.
So, but still, man, it's ridiculous. You don't know ball, just don't comment.
Yeah, Eric Gentry had 12 total tackles. Jalen had 7. Easton had 7. Mason had 5. Jacoby had 6. Keely had 6. I hope Keely's okay. He was struggling out there with his shoulder, but he was battling through it. So I hope he's okay. But I think our defense is going to be fine. Without those 2 big scores, they would not have scored those if they I don't think they would have scored that drive if they didn't have those big scores. We were stopping them, so we're fine. 9 times out of 10, we beat Michigan.
Yep. So since we mentioned Eric Gentry's PFF numbers versus Michigan, 83.0 defensive grade, which is 8th among P4 linebackers. 92 run defense grade, which is 2nd in the nation. 4 QB pressures, which is 2nd in the nation. 1st in QB hurries with 3. 8 tackles, which is 7th. and 4 stops, which is 17th. The nation needs to start putting some respect on Eric Gentry's name. I'm glad they got to see him on the big stage because we already knew what he could do, and I think that draft stock is rising for him. My honorable mention: Jalen Smith, 85.5 coverage grade, 4th among P4 cornerbacks. 84.8 tackle grade, which is 1st among P4 cornerbacks. 84.1 defensive grade, which is 8th, and 3 stops, which is 4th.
Okay.
We got some ballers, man. We got some ballers on this defense.
And going back to the Keely thing real quick, I mean, if he is going to be out this upcoming game, which we'll obviously talk more on Wednesday, I want to see Beavers. I want to see Zion Branch. I need to see those guys, in my opinion, in this defense. So yeah, just kind of thought.
Yeah, I'm interested to see when and how they're going to play Beavers, man. We heard a lot about him and fall, and we know what he can do. He showed it in the bowl game, so hopefully we get to see him soon. But all right, man, all minds clear about our defense.
Now let's get to the meat or the meat and potatoes, I guess. All right, so second quarter, offensive grade and offensive MVP.
Real quick, wait, before we go to that. So Bryson Shaw came in when Akili was out.
Yeah, I did notice that, Gabe. Yep, that was.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
but we got to remember, at one point, Shaw was one of the top safeties in the Big Ten.
How
Big
long?
Ten. He
How long
knows
is he
Big
going to
Ten
live off
football,
that,
baby.
though? How long is he going to live off that?
Out there, just a reminder. Do with that what you will. But
how long is that going to be his claim to fame, though?
Hey, you talk to him about that. I don't know, but
I don't even think he even brings that up, though.
No, I do. but all right, let's move on to. Do we have
offensive grade or offensive grade of the game and MVP?
Well, it was definitely a tale of two halves for us on the offensive side. Well, defense too, but more so the offense side. But we can only give one grade. So, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm probably go. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I'm gonna go with a C for sure, man. If it wasn't for that second half, it would be ugly. That grade, I'll tell you that. But,
yeah.
Listen, we posed the question. Shoot, I'm not even sure. It was sometime during the offseason, early offseason. And we told you guys that all eyes would be on a certain position coach. And his position group still have questions. And quite frankly, as a fan, I'm tired of it. But but this is what we at right now. This is where we are. So not getting down on the guys. Everyone has a bad game, and Michigan's defense is the best in the nation. Their defensive line is, at least. So, but yeah, E-Man was a baller, man. E-Man was a baller. But yeah, we got work to do on the offensive line. Gabe, offensive line play a lot better than I do. So I'm sure Gabe probably be putting out a video about that. But but yeah, man, they got to step it up, man. They got to figure out something. Hopefully, the adjustments that were made, they seem to do a lot better once they were made. So maybe that's how we go moving forward. But bottom line is we just can't have that. We just can't have that. I said it earlier before the season started that we can't have this, and now we have it. But so now we got to deal with it and correct it. Well, PFF gave us a whopping 8. Yes, you heard me. 8. Singular. 8. Single number. Out of 100. I've never even seen that before. I didn't even know that was possible. So that should tell you a lot. That should tell you a whole lot, man. But the biggest story for me, I'm not even as mad at the offensive line as I am our head coach, Lincoln Riley. I'm sorry, guys, but this is where I get my critique on. Lincoln, I love you. You my dog. I rock with you. And you boys keep telling me that Lincoln is an elite play caller, but I still ain't seen it, man. How many times have we had this conversation last year about questionable play calling, questionable play calling, questionable play calling? But people still want to tell me that Lincoln is an elite play caller. The two of them can't be true, man. Both of them can't be true. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to think, but this play calling needs some fixing, man. Game management needs to be addressed moving forward. That's done. I'm done with my rant. I'll shut up now. Let you guys have it. But yeah, offense, man. Oh, did I give an MVP? No. Woody Marks is my MVP. By the way.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So, who wants to take it from here?
Yeah, I'll pop in real quick. I'm gonna give it honestly a C minus. I was kind of thinking about D plus. Honestly, I just the 8 out of 100 is just insane. 22 pressures in total. I mean, Miller Moss was on his ass the whole day. I feel for that guy. The adjustments though that were made in the second half seemed to help somewhat. Obviously, again, there was still some pressures and some issues in that second half, but it did seem like Miller was able to have a little bit more time than first half to throw the ball and make those throws. So we got to find a way for Lincoln to trust this line to have, or somehow to like B Jones's point, like call better plays to help with the O-line at a certain points in the game, right? It can't be like these screens that we just kept seeing, every other drive and stuff, right? You gotta time these right, and so he's definitely having some issues there. But if we can somehow get more of a balanced attack, run the ball. I mean, we got 2 studs. I mean, really, we have 4 studs obviously in the room, but I mean, Joyner and Woody are really looking good. We got to utilize them more, even though where it seems like Woody's been utilized a lot lately. He looked exhausted. But yeah, if we can just figure out this O-line, which I do think we will, especially for these big games coming up in a couple weeks and later this year, we have a good shot for the playoffs still. So disappointing, but we will learn a lot from this front 7 that we faced, particularly the front 4, front 5, and yeah, we'll be good.
Yep.
Oh, let me address this Les guy in the chat. Les, what are you talking about? The worst version of Michigan? Like, you act like this is the best version of USC. Did you not realize how terrible we were last year? So you trying to flex this damn win because the refs gave you guys a bunch of calls, and you're talking about the worst version of Michigan beat us. Well, guess what? It's not the best version of USC yet. We're still building our line. We just hired our defensive coordinator, and we nearly beat you guys there. So we got nothing to be embarrassed about, honestly.
Yeah, 4 potential first rounders on your defense.
Exactly. Y'all, you got 2 first rounders in your defensive line, and you're saying that that's the worst defense. I don't think that's the worst defensive Michigan line. Maybe the worst team overall. Who knows? I don't see a lot of Michigan. You guys barely won last year, and that's because of you guys were cheating. So I guess if you want to flex that, you can flex it. But that being said, you can just get the hell out of here already.
let him do his thing, bro. Let him live, man.
Yeah, he can stay. He's not being like abusive, so I'm not going to be block happy right here.
I didn't say you need to block him, but I'm saying,
bro, you go with your offensive grade,
But offense, I give the team a D plus. I don't think it was passing. Had we won the game and ended it right, I would have given them like a C. Just because our O line had a lot of struggles. Um, our O line pretty much got dominated the entire game. Um, so yeah, Henson, I don't know, man. You're in the hot seat for sure. I'm not over here wishing bad luck on anyone, but you got to get your act together. If you don't get it together, us as fans, we want to see a good, you know, balanced team across the board, not just on one side of the ball or a certain position group. So, hopefully you get it together. You get this O line ready for the rest of the season. Plenty, games left, and I do believe that the O line is going to get better. We face the toughest defensive line we're probably going to face the entire, at the very least, the regular season, right? So I think they're going to learn a lot from that. So, that's my grade. Hopefully, we do learn from it, and Henson, gets his act together, and Page getting benched and whatnot. Hopefully, he uses that as motivation and realizes, I didn't show up, rather than just taking that as a way of like feeling down on himself. If I'm him, I kind of use that as motivation and say, you know what? Yeah, they have the right to bench me. I was getting beat every single time. I got to get my act together. So hopefully that's the mentality he has, and grows from this, and falls out the rest of the year.
Let me just add on that real quick, Guns, before we get to you.
I'm not in my feelings, guy.
Huh?
I'm just saying, like, you're over here talking crap to Jeff and stuff, like talking crap or anything. We didn't talk crap to Michigan at all.
All right,
at all.
It's cool. They won. They won that right. That's fandom. That's how it goes, man. But check it out. There's definitely some guys on our team that feel like they should be getting more playing time. My question to you is, what are you going to do about it? Right? You feel like you should be playing more or something like that. What are you going to do to make sure the coaches who control that you get their attention and make them feel like you deserve to be in the game? Crying about it ain't going to do nothing for you. I can tell you that right now as a former coach. Crying about it ain't going to do nothing. And you talk about complaining about it and jumping in the portal next year ain't going to do nothing for you. You get what I'm saying? Just going to make you look like a punk. I'm just being straight up with you. At some point in life, you're going to face adversity. How you respond to that adversity is how you will be judged, especially from NFL scouts. That's just bottom line. If you think scouts don't look at that, but yeah, that's the end of that rant. Go ahead, Guns.
Guns.
Guns, you with us?
What's up?
Did you go?
I'm here. Yeah,
I
I
think
went.
it's back
Yeah,
to Chan already.
Oh, so it's,
yeah, I
it's my
went.
turn.
Yeah, Raul's up. Yeah, Raul, you finishing or no?
We're all finished.
Finished it.
Okay,
I
okay,
finished
okay.
it.
Or who was your MVP?
Oh, MVP obviously has got to be Woody Marks. He stepped up big time for us.
Yep. All right. For me, I'll give the offense a C. They brought us back into this game, so we were down 14-3, and it could have been worse. And they started to get onto a rhythm, but that offensive line was pretty pathetic at this point. It was just the fact that they were just reaching and just whiffing on any kind of blocks coming through. Jonah got embarrassed. Elijah Page easily got embarrassed all the time, and even after the adjustments, the adjustments helped for a little bit because the third quarter, that's when we started to really find a rhythm, and we were starting to drive down the field. But then they adjusted as well, so they made those changes for that. So Josh Henson definitely needs to get his team, his line together. And like when B Jones says that he blames Lincoln on this one, like I think he's had better lines in the past, and he didn't have Josh Henson as their offensive line coach. So I think he was dialing up some plays, but Miller Moss just didn't have the time to even diagnose the field to see who was open. Like Miller Moss knew how Caleb Williams felt last year. Like this was just he was getting harassed. He was having maybe at least 2 seconds, if that, to be able to diagnose the field. So that's when they started to do those short little shovel passes, which still didn't work because they knew that that their defensive line was going to be able to get pressure. So their linebackers just stayed shallow, and they were just waiting for those shovel passes to the running back. And so they knew exactly what they could do because their defensive line literally is the best that we're going to be seeing. So, which is good for Josh Henson because it's the best defensive line he's going to that our offensive line is going to play. So they're not going to look as bad next to the rest of the defensive line that we're going to be seeing. But other than that, though, like it was just pretty bad. Like we were fairly balanced. We had 28 passes to 21 rushes. Granted, they count Miller Moss for rushing for 5. I don't see why that's a thing. But Woody had 13 attempts for 102 yards, so he was running the ball. So we were able to get some rushing positive yards on them. It's just we probably should have leaned on that a little bit more. And of course, a lot of people are saying Quentin Joyner deserves more, and I do think he does. But it's kind of like you're splitting it between Woody Marks, he had 102 rushing or 102 yards on 13 carries, which is still great. He was averaging 7.7 yards a carry, but also was same with Quentin Joyner. He had three carries for 23 yards. He had no losses. So he was bouncing off players, and he was actually making them just like he was out rushing some of the players on the edge. So I think this loss I would blame on the offensive line. They just weren't it. Like there was times where they did give some time to Miller Moss, and that's when we saw a lot of success. That's when we saw the pass to Jacoby Lane, the beautiful pass by Miller Moss, and then also some great passes to Jay Fair. Shout outs to Jay Fair getting his first USC touchdown. They did make adjustments in the second quarter, but the most adjustments came in the second half and the third quarter. That's when we started to really click, and I really appreciate that. But the offensive line, just Josiah Stewart was living in the backfield. He got to know Miller Moss really well back there, and like I feel so bad every time he was getting hit. I was like, because you could see him struggling to get up every time he was getting taken down. I was like, how much can he take at this point? But offensive MVP, I'll give that to Woody Marks. That strip fumble that he didn't give up on was just the true thing of fight on. He just kept fighting on, and he climbed all over freaking Kenneth Grant and just got that ball back. Thankfully, he doesn't know how to carry a ball, or because that could have been rough, because he could have probably just shoved Woody Marks off him, because that's a big dude. But he did a great job. He was all around probably our best player on offense.
Yep. Miss Tamika Marks, if you are listening or watching, you raised the gangster.
I even tweeted that, or I didn't tweet at Tamika, but I was like, thank God for Woody Marks for that.
Right.
Yeah. But
That's a gangster on the field, by the way, not off the field. He's a nice young man off the field.
yeah, but I have to agree with B Jones on this is on Lincoln Riley. I mean, yeah, the O line, needs improvement, a lot of improvement. But Lincoln Riley should have made those adjustments a lot sooner rather than waiting until halftime, or at least try something different. Not just forcing running down the middle, or just come up with something different. He could have potentially thrown in Mayava for one play, just to kind of spark up the offense, get some momentum going. Mayawa's a running quarterback. Not that I'm saying to keep him throughout the game, but I'm saying since we were struggling to run the ball in the beginning, maybe putting in Mayava for like a RPO or something, just kind of confusing the defense a little bit, could have potentially just spark up some energy and drive some momentum. I don't know, just try something different. Um, Overall, I mean, I think he'll learn from this. But yeah, I got to put it on Lincoln Riley on this one.
See, I think.
Oh, let me go in real quick. Sorry, jump in.
Go ahead.
It isn't technically every loss on Lincoln, no matter what. Like not to
Yeah.
like get into this like whole shebang, whatever you want to say. But like, right, he's the head coach. Like it's obviously on him that we lost the game. But in all reality, that old line was an 8 out of 100.
Yeah,
I get that, but he needed to adjust. If he saw that we were struggling,
so
he could have helped them out.
We had 3 yards. We had 3 yards
Yeah.
total in the first quarter, and then we had 120 yards in the second quarter. So that's an adjustment.
I do like the Jaden Maiava thing and bringing him in, but I don't think Lincoln has ever done that in his history as a head coach, where he's had like a quarterback come in for a package. I could be wrong, and someone
Caleb
please can
Williams.
definitely. But no, that was to take over. That was
that
not
is
to. That was not a package for like 1 or 2 plays and then go back to the quarterback.
I think he did. He did that a few times in that Texas game.
Okay,
No,
yeah. So I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that just because I know Mayawa could run a little bit, right? So I figured, not allowing the D line to just, zone in on that and keep them a little honest that, they're going to have to account for a running quarterback, right?
That is true, but like, it's just the fact that I don't even know if he wouldn't have had nearly as much time to be able to throw back there or even try to diagnose a call, because like Kenneth Grant was blowing up the middle. Josiah Stewart was blowing up on the sides. I get that you want maybe to keep them guessing, but
I'm just saying try something different. If it didn't work, you could go back.
Well, he did. He did try a lot of things different. He tried to he pulled the guards to get more offensive line on one side to block Josiah Stewart, which effectively worked. But then I saw a play where they did that to block Josiah Stewart, and then they had a linebacker come out around the weak side, and then they ended up getting Miller Moss at that point. So there was adjustments. It's just the other team adjusted too. So even if Lincoln Riley makes adjustments, the other team can make adjustments too. It's not just one person making adjustments.
No, for sure. I get that. But what I'm saying is just I think he could have tried a little bit more.
Yeah, that is true. The second to last drive before they made that game-winning drive, that was god awful.
And that's what I was referring to most.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not saying that was bad,
Amen.
but the whole game though, I don't think it was all on him the whole game.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
no,
I'm not blaming it all on him because obviously he still needs to rely on a decent O line, right, to allow him the play to develop. So I'm not blaming it all on him.
Yeah, to his defense, man. I mean, when your O line ain't doing crap, it's kind of hard to do the things you want to do. So
yeah, because people were saying that he needs to get the ball to Deuce Robinson and Jacoby Lane more. Who knows if he was trying to do that, because Miller Moss couldn't stand back there long enough to be able to find where they're at.
we couldn't even tell what we was trying to do.
Yeah, like they would get off the ball, like the wide receivers get maybe 5-10 yards down the field, and then they're getting sacked. Because I saw people were saying, "Oh, why couldn't they do that when they were referencing a CU play?" I was like, "Bro, like he didn't have the time to do that." And plus, CU was playing Baylor; they weren't playing Michigan. Michigan has the best defensive line, probably the best defense that is in the Big Ten. Maybe next to Ohio State, but I don't think Ohio State even has the defensive line that Michigan does. They're Josiah Stewart is a top. I think he first 2 rounds.
Yeah, you can.
No,
I
I'm
was
not sure. I
surprised
haven't
though, like
seen that.
jet sweeps. I think that could have been used more. I think we could have built off that. The jet sweeps could have maybe done like a fake, right, and then stuff like that. So,
All right.
uh,
Do we want to switch?
All right.
Halftime.
So, yep, halftime. There's not much recruiting news. But Guns, I think there was something that you wanted to mention.
no, I mean, if you guys were curious, in terms of what the outcome happened, how that would affect people, from the media insiders, those experts. I mean, they're still saying good things. I which I agree. I mean, I think we're showing we have the right culture. We're a physical team, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, this is definitely not a negative impact on recruiting. So, if anyone was thinking that, we're
Yeah.
good.
Honestly, I think it looks good for us in recruiting because it shows that we are Big Ten tough.
Yep.
And that we're ready for the Big Ten, and we're not the soft surfer boys that everyone thinks we are. Like we were physical with Michigan. We were swarming to the ball. We were physical. We made sure tackles, except for a few tackles here and there, like 10 tackles we had issues with. But if this was last year's team, that would have been like 50 missed tackles.
Yeah, I have to laugh at those statements that soft surfer boys. I don't know why. I'm not a surfer myself, but like, what do you guys have against surfers, man?
It's all
If
because
any-
of sunshine.
Have you seen these surfers ride these big ass waves? I'll be terrified to go in there, man.
Yeah.
So,
No country boy's going to be getting into the water with a surfboard.
not at all. So I don't know why they call them soft, but whatever.
Especially nowadays with these sharks too, dude. They're coming too close to the beaches, dude. I ain't going in that water anymore,
That's what I'm
dude.
saying. I mean, it's just like I'm not a surfer, but what do you guys have against them calling them soft? Those guys aren't soft. I mean, that's tough. That's a tough sport. I wouldn't dare doing any of that.
They think surfers are the equivalent to hippies, but if you want hippies, go to Colorado. Boulder, Colorado, those are hippies. They're soft. Trust me, I know about Boulder, Colorado. But do we want to go to the AP poll? Surprisingly, or actually, one thing that I kind of want to bring up, I know people probably don't want to hear about this, but Paul Feinbaum actually gave us credit and actually gave Lincoln Riley credit. Exactly. Like hell must have froze over, because he even said, like, I'm not trying to pander to Lincoln Riley. I don't want to be invited over, but he's gained respect for him, which is crazy. And for our football team, saying that we show toughness, which he didn't think would be possible.
Trust me, Paul. There's nothing that you could do or say that would get you that invite, so you don't have to worry about that.
If you tried to step on campus, it probably wouldn't. Like, setting foot in California is probably almost as bad as if Drake stepped foot in California.
I did want to talk about little special teams.
Okay.
I know field goals. I mean, nothing bad from that standpoint. Punting was really great. I think if I'm not mistaken, Eddie had a 60-yarder. One of his was a 60-yarder punt.
Yeah,
so
Eddie's
that's
good.
great. He's looking really good compared to last year. I just personally felt like there was potentially some opportunities on the kickoff returns, where Zachariah did the fair catch, where he potentially could have maybe gave us some more yardage. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I think that could have potentially helped us in this game. And that's something that Lincoln kind of called out in his Thursday little presser that he does with the media, where they said they spent some extra time on special teams. And obviously we don't know exactly the details of that, but yeah, that's just something that stood out with me.
Yeah, that one definitely scratching my head too, man. I thought for sure that even the Michigan fans were all holding their breath.
But I did see that their special teams, well, besides one cheap ass block on Mekhi Lemon, which should be looked at and that he should be reprimanded for that bullshit. They did pretty good in the kick coverage when they were getting close to him. There were some booming punts that he did have some leeway, but I felt like their punt coverage team was actually pretty rock solid. So I'm not mad at it. I do think he could have tried, but would it have been successful? Maybe, maybe not. we don't know at this point.
There is
But
when you have like Zachariah Branch, though. That's the
true.
thing, and especially we heard all week from him how he's still thinking about that LSU game and he wants to make it up and all that.
Yeah.
And then you do stuff like this, man. It's kind of leaves you.
Do you think it's him telling Zachariah Branch to
Well, not a
fair catch, or do you think it's Zachariah Branch fair catching?
Here's your answer right here.
So it's Branch then.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably,
so
Mhm.
yeah, man, that was a head scratcher. But I'm gonna just go ahead and tear the whole show up right now. If you guys watched his show a couple hours ago, Coach Rowe from LAFB, I'm sure you guys are familiar. He mentioned something that that, to be honest, I've been thinking about too in the back of my mind. Is Zachariah Branch really a receiver, man?
So he did lead the team in catches and yards. Now, again, that probably is an impact of the Mackay situation, right? You would say I can agree with that. I do think there is some things that he needs to improve on still.
Yeah,
I mean,
I still think he's still a receiver. It's just he still needs some refining, of course. But I wouldn't want to have him as a running back. I don't think he has that lower center of gravity to be a running back like that Woody and Quinn have. Like they have their legs, they have some tree trunk legs. Zachariah doesn't. So I think he is still going to be a receiver for us. I don't see where else he would be besides just kick returner. But he showed a lot of flashes in that game. Like he almost had that one catch, that it would have been like a good 30-yard catch, but it did like the defender did a really good job at knocking the ball out of the hands. But he was our best receiver at that time, and I was hoping we would see a little bit more of the. Well, we did have some passes to the tight ends that were like the straight go routes, but Miller Moss overshot some of those. Like Miller Moss didn't have his best game, even when he did have some free time back there. There was a lot of passes that I think he would have liked back, like the one to Deuce Robinson. He had Deuce Robinson streaking down the sidelines. He overthrew him that way. He would have had at least a good 50-yard gain on that. So there were some passes I think Miller Moss would like to have back.
Yeah, back to the Branch thing though, man. Okay, so I heard a comparison of Tavon Austin for him, right? Well, can anybody tell me what position Devin Hester played?
Wide receiver.
Did he?
Pretty sure he did.
who Devin Hester?
Yeah.
He played
Yeah, he
corner.
played wide receiver and DB, right? Yeah, right. Both.
Right. Why? Because he's that type of athlete, right?
Okay.
Correct. Gotcha. Yep.
I mean, they had to give him a position, right? But that may be Zachariah's role. I'm not saying it is. I mean, he could very well turn out to be a very good receiver. But,
yeah. I wouldn't want him to be on the defensive side if he did do that as well. So
no, I think he just needs to a little bit improve his route running, and then hopefully coach could use him in different packages. Like I would like him to run the ball like on a jet sweep type of thing, or passes where we put him in open space, because we can't teach that speed or his cuts and whatnot. So that's where I wish we would utilize him more and put him in a position where he'll be successful. Obviously, he won't have the hands of Hudson or these other guys, but I think he'll still be a solid receiver if we can put him in good spots.
Another thing I want to say too, man, games like this, you need to have the guys that you can count on in there, the ones that have sure hands. I was looking for Kyle Ford. I did not see him. These are the games where experience matters. You know what I mean? When you're going down the stretch in the clutch. And I was, I thought for sure that Kyle would be in there around that time. But so I don't know, man. I don't know. But every time, I mean, we see it every time he touches the ball, he makes the most out of it, right?
Yeah.
How many drops does Kyle Ford had over the years? I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'm sure he does, but I can't think of any.
Yeah.
Just saying. All right. So, top 25, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say third quarter.
Yeah.
All right. Surprisingly, we did not drop as much as I thought we would. So we're at number 13, and Michigan, of course, jumped us as they should. But Missouri dropped out of the top 10. Utah's in the top 10. Oregon didn't play, did they? And
No.
Tennessee, like they jumped, 2 spots, I think. And then Oklahoma got slacked.
Tennessee
So,
moved up.
yeah, so they jumped 2 spots. They went from like 2 or 7 to 5, right?
5, yeah.
So I'm glad Oklahoma, at least Oklahoma lost too.
No,
'Cause
I could
I knew if we lost and Oklahoma won,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
it would have been like miserable just hearing them boomers out there. So
Yeah, I think one of them tried to jump in Jay's live today. Jay shut that down immediately. Like, bro, you don't
Yeah,
act like
like-
y'all didn't get your teeth kicked in. Like,
you got like Jackson Arnold is not it, my guys.
they already talking about him transferring, man. You have to game 3. But,
Yeah.
This poll actually is the only one I've seen that I actually agree with for the first time in a long time, man. Like, it actually makes sense. Michigan beat us, so they're ahead of us.
Yep.
We beat LSU, so they're behind us. You know,
Yeah.
it
That's
makes sense.
logic, right?
Right. So, but yeah, being at 13, man, we are still in position. We get to
Good
that 12
position.
playoffs. We
Yeah.
get any ahead of that, we're good.
I think the
So-
AP poll voters realize that this could have been either game.
Absolutely. So listen, at the end of the day, we lost to the defending champs in their house.
Yeah. Our first road game.
Our
They
first,
still have yet to play a road game.
exactly.
Hey, and I'll say this: Michigan fans are loud, though. Whoever said that it wouldn't get loud, it was
no.
loud.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was some guys saying it was like 130 plus on
See,
decibel.
Yeah. Who brought this whole there? It's not noisy.
I
in the
think
big
I
house?
did. I watched. I brought up the poll.
I know I brought it up because I heard it from someone, but
Yeah,
whoever
dude,
said that was
Yeah.
not
lied to us. Lied to
because
us. Yeah,
'cause
dude.
it
lied.
was loud.
I don't care where the game was. When you have Michigan and USC playing each
Right.
other, there's going to be a big crowd.
Yeah, and that crowd really brought.
It's all right, Jeff. It's all right, Jeff.
I'm not blaming you, Jeff. I think someone told you that too.
No, we're
But,
thinking about someone else, Jeff. It's not for you, W.
But like, what was it? Yeah, like Michigan Stadium is insane. Like just the way that everyone was color coordinated, I don't think that could ever happen at USC games.
And-
So
yeah. And now
Sure.
that
Just no.
and now that you that we bring up the loudness and whatnot, I heard that part of the reason why the O line did terrible is because they couldn't hear at all.
yeah, but they could still see Josiah Stewart in his face and still block him.
Yeah,
Like if somehow like the sound is disorienting your vision, okay, but I still doubt that. Like maybe if they didn't, if I would say that's an issue if you have a lot of false starts, but when it comes to blocking, you just know your assignment and that's it.
No,
Like if you see someone in front of you, make sure you stay in front of them, not whiff on the
I
block.
disagree. Look, this is what's going on. Right? The crowd is yelling,
Okay.
the decibel meter's going up, and then the lines start getting squiggly, right?
This is not CFB 25 B Jones.
Oh, okay, I thought this how it worked.
I might have saw some squiggly lines too, but it's okay.
No, okay.
No, that was good. That was
Any
good.
other-
Yeah, my thoughts real quick on the AP poll. I mean, the best part I think of this whole thing is actually Missouri at 11. They're an SEC team, so I think you would have thought they'd be in the top 10 regardless of a win. They had to beat Vandy in double overtime. All right,
That is
Vandy's
true.
the worst team in the SEC. So yeah, that right there I think kind of just speaks volume of the entire bowl, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
And one thing that I want to say about this, though, here, the fact that Texas walloped Michigan, their defense, really speaks volumes. And I definitely agree they're probably the best team in the nation. Like, they did that at Michigan, and they destroyed their defense. So
that's what happens when you get a couple 5-star tackles on.
Yeah. And that's probably what happens when you have a good offensive line coach too. But but Texas though, like, is looking like they're back. Like they're insane right now with what they did, but I think there's a pretty big gap, or I don't know about a big gap between Georgia and Texas, but a sizable gap, I feel like, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if Texas is a favorite to beat Georgia.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, really quick, B. Jones. Arch Manning struggled a little bit.
Oh,
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I'm just doing shit.
Listen, what I meant by that is more so the politics of it. Because he is a Manning, he has his fanfare.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
Yeah.
yeah,
More receptive to him and all that stuff. Yeah.
exactly.
All right. So we should go to. Do we want to go to the fourth quarter now? Like CFB reactions. I don't know if there's really much to react to the college football world.
I guess we can react to that Hail Mary from Colorado.
I don't
What
want
do
to
you
talk
guys think of
about
that?
that. I don't want to talk about that.
You just
Why not?
your team. Huh?
Yeah, why are you trying to make my weekend worse, Raul?
Well, why?
Okay.
I mean, it's just Colorado. Why you even worry about them? They're not going to be relevant at the end of the season anyway.
But they still keep talking though.
Let them talk, man.
They can talk because they won, and
let Colorado fans have their moment. We know they're not going to be relevant after Deion Sanders leaves, so
I don't want to give
have
them
their
anything.
15 seconds of fame.
Oh, really quick. We have 166 people watching right now. Like and subscribe.
Yes, please.
That's right.
Help us out, man. We appreciate it. All right.
Like, is there any games that you guys were surprised about? I was a little nervous about UCLA and LSU for a second.
That kind of was a shock, not gonna lie.
LSU has just been
They're dinged up though too.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you guys heard. I think Black, because I told him, but Harold Perkins torn ACL out for the rest of the season. Yeah, out for the season. So they just continue to get banged up over there at LSU. So
that's bad luck right there.
Yeah, get that for him, man.
Hey, Gabe, you told me to bet my rent money, man.
Yeah, I'm never taking betting advice from you ever again.
Never. No, just kidding.
I'm gonna be a month short now.
Yeah, like that. I honestly thought that it would have been a lot worse, but they didn't cover, did they?
They did not cover.
Because it was 31-17.
I think the spread was 21, right?
Yeah, line was 21 and a half. Yeah, depends on what you got.
Gabe, did you bet your rent check on that?
He might have did.
That's why you can do parlays. Don't bet on the parlays, guys. Just straight up.
Yeah, no, you did good.
Jeff said he wasn't impressed by Ohio State. I mean, they did their thing. Like, Junkins and having Travion Henderson on there, that's kind of unfair.
Just like we
That's
said,
just unfair.
Where's Jordan at, man? I'm surprised he's not in here, bro.
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah, like. But what else do we have? What other games that were kind of a shocker? Like, oh, Florida State won a game. I was shocked by that actually. They beat Cal.
I was shocked by the outcome. I mean, it just seems like they still can't score any points. Dude. 14-9
Wait,
against
I did
Cal.
not see if DJ did he start?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Oh wow, I'm surprised the fans didn't start throwing trash at them. What's your thoughts about Illinois versus Nebraska?
That was
Overtime loss.
I was not expecting. I didn't have that one on the bingo card.
yeah,
Illinois looks pretty good.
It looked all right,
for
man.
sure. Disciplined team.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Hey, BYU beating Kansas State too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, you could kind of see that, but still, it's still a shock.
Oh, what about North Carolina losing badly to Jackson?
Oh my
or
goodness.
JCU or
Yeah.
whatever? Who was it?
Yeah, JMU. Yeah,
AMU.
Madison.
It was
gave
70 to
points,
50.
yeah. Supposedly, Mac Brown told the players at halftime that if they don't show up, he's gonna retire or something like that in the second half.
But
Sheesh.
their fans left
yeah.
at halftime. Like the
Yeah, I
students
heard about
left,
that,
They
yeah.
left at halftime.
That's crazy. I would too,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing.
We go our games during the Hilton.
Neither defenses wanted to play though, because North Carolina still put up 50.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
what else? Tennessee. Well, Nico didn't look the greatest against Oklahoma, but I don't know.
He had some good throws, but yeah, not consistently.
Yeah, he was 13 of 21 for 194 yards for 1 touchdown. Still not the greatest.
I wonder.
James Madison, there you go. That's who. it
Question: Thinking about the Tennessee game, do you guys think Josh Heupel
leaves.
No, not leaves, but
Oh.
he didn't want to put up 50 points on his former team.
Oh,
You
is
know,
that
given
what- is
that
that
he
what
was the
the rumor is?
quarterback, he was a coach there. Do you think so or no? Because he was very emotional, post game. So I feel like he was in his feelings, maybe, maybe.
Score up. And these days you don't have to. It kind of before, you kind of had to run the score up, just to get a fair
Right.
place in the polls.
Yeah.
But now that
Yeah,
12,
you have to have style points.
now that the 12-team system is in play, I don't think coaches
Yeah.
have to.
No.
run the
And
score up.
against a top 25 team, you want to look good to they could have popped Alabama if they ran up the score.
No.
So I don't know, but I saw this one one Oklahoma YouTuber or whatever. He was he titled it "Tennessee's Afraid of Beating Oklahoma," and that was the title of his video. And he says the reason that they would be afraid is if what's the head coach for Oklahoma?
Venables.
Jackson Arnold.
No, the head coach, Brent Venables.
Oh,
They
for
said
the-
if Josh Heupel destroys Brent Venables, maybe next year they'll fire, or this year they'll fire Brent Venables, and then they're going to try to steal Josh Heupel from Tennessee, and that's why they're afraid to really beat up on Oklahoma. I was like, you are reaching, my guy.
That's funny.
That was the saddest justification to losing bad to a team.
That's almost Florida.
We'll lose bad so we can steal your head coach. That's
Yeah.
dumb.
That's almost as bad as Florida thinking they're going to get Lincoln, man.
Yeah. But B Jones brought this up a little bit ago here before we went live. Go ahead and ask your question, B Jones.
What?
Gentry.
What you said about
Gentry, B. Jones. Gentry.
So, Trojan family, talk to me, man. Not saying this is going to happen. Not saying that it's something that EG wants to do. But do you guys feel that EG, Eric Gentry, is worthy to don the 55? Let us know. You got the poll, DC?
Yeah. I put up a poll just not too long ago about how did everyone feel about the game, but I guess when I ended it. I can't see it afterwards here, but should Eric Gentry wear 55?
Wouldn't be
Let us
surprised
know.
actually if there's no no's. To be honest with you,
I know one person who probably have something to say about EG switching his
really.
number.
So, real quick. So I put up a poll at the very beginning of the podcast here. I said, "How do you feel about USC after this loss?" And I said, "Optimistic or negative?" And 29 votes. 86% said optimistic, and 13% said negative.
All right, so 13% get out.
Yeah,
No,
those are the people who were talking bad about Danton Lind, I bet. But so far, right now, 4 votes say yes. So
Yeah,
there's
and
176 people here. You guys should be voting, please.
with that being said, on the O line, as bad as it looked, they're gonna gain a lot of experience from this last game,
Oh yeah, no, this is going
and
to toughen them up. It should.
and it's gonna help them out moving forward for the rest of the year. So this O line is gonna be much different, I think, at towards the end of the year, in my opinion.
So I think we found our first no here because there is a no in there. It looks like it's David here. Says no. I just need him. What?
not you, David.
Oh, okay.
I don't give a damn what he look like. Is he balling? Okay.
No, I just need him to look better in uniform for 55. My
I'm not
opinion
trying to date
is
the man.
not based on his play on the field. I hope you're joking about just being looks because that is kind of a
I think
very
he's joking around.
I hope so. I'm hoping so because if that was the truth, then that's kind of a weird justification for someone that is this good to not wear 55. Because the dude has been balling out like he said, dude is too skinny. Wait, just too skinny, fam. He's nasty.
Okay, he's not your type. Got it. But
Why are you checking him out like that, my guy? I'm just
come
kidding.
on.
No, he's been the best linebacker out of a really stacked linebacker room right now. Like
Right.
none of our linebackers are really playing bad, but he's just playing better.
And Gentry, who was a freshman All-American.
Yeah, he's playing like that All-American right now.
Yeah.
Like, but see, granted, we understand why he's not going to play like an All-American those past 2 years because Grinch. But now he's playing like his potential that he was coming from Arizona State.
Right. And lastly, David, you tripping. You tripping. I don't care what he looked like. The boy can ball. Making plays all over the field. That's all I need him to do.
Wait, what?
What?
Well, the number 55.
Oh, it's all about legacy, man. What are you talking about?
What?
Hey, fellas, I have to head out myself.
Yeah, we're right.
Fight on, fellas. No need to end the show, but I do have to head out myself. So, fight on, fellas.
See,
I know.
All right, fellas, fight on.
David, I really hope you're just.
And then before I head out, 11-1 season coming up. All right, it's loading.
Hey, I'm not mad at that now at this point. But honestly, David, I really hope you're joking because so you were checking out Keith Rivers this whole time? Like you're like, okay, yeah, he looks like a 55. Is that what you're doing, my guy?
What size pants does Gentry have to wear, man? To make you feel
like,
comfortable?
Yeah, like he's 220. 220 is a good size for a linebacker. He's just really skinny.
All right, it's about to get weird. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Where we at with this poll?
We're done with the poll. We were in the fourth quarter about the CFB or the poll. Okay, so we have 6 votes saying yes, saying or 67% saying yes, 33% saying no.
Wow,
I'm surprised by that actually.
I am.
All right.
Okay, then David. I could just time him out on YouTube. Timing out on YouTube doesn't get you banned, but maybe on StreamYard it does.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's good, man. He ain't got time.
He might need a little timeout.
Nah, I don't think so. He's okay.
But it's called joking from my side too. I'm just trolling him. But yeah, like I'm not mad at the spot. Like anyone above us or anyone that's below us in the rankings, I think we could easily beat them. So Clemson has been slowly looking pretty good though. Not gonna lie. Granted, NC State is like B Jones has been saying that they're not good. Because they got shellacked by Clemson. What?
I said overrated.
But yeah, no, Clemson's looking pretty good. They're looking a lot better than they did against Georgia, so I'm not mad at that. I think Clemson will be a fun game to play, but we're not going to be playing them in playoffs. Is there any? Miami kind of struggled a little bit too, for a little bit, and then they kind of ran away with it in the fourth quarter, I think. But Miami kind of showed a little cracks in there. And right now, 75% is saying yes for Gentry, so it's moving up.
Good.
All right, I think that's it. I'll go ahead and end this poll since we've only had 8 people voting it. You guys need to vote more, please. But
oh yeah, just real quick. I mean, it's not crazy news. I'm sure we'll get an official update on Makai Lemon, but Scott did say that he is hearing he is okay. So I mean, nothing serious from that standpoint, but we'll find out. You know, I'm sure he'll be in a concussion protocol and go from there. But
yeah,
So-
that I really think they should Sherrone Moore should even just look at that just to reprimand him for that because he stood over him too. Like that should have been a taunting penalty in itself.
at least, Joe. Yeah.
Michigan reprimand themselves? What?
That is true. That is true. They love to cheat.
Now you're gonna be asking Georgia to do the same, huh?
Oh yeah, sorry. I mean, I guess cheating is probably a rite of passage for them. Then
Next, you're gonna want Ollie Gordon to have some kind of suspension or something. Huh? Anyways,
oh, I'm sorry for thinking logically. My bad.
but well, yeah, man. Dang, I lost my whole train of thought there. Oh no, Coach Rowe actually did mention. If you guys caught USCJ's live earlier, he mentioned that it's pretty much protocol for the SC training staff to send the guy to the hospital where head injuries to check for blood clots. So that's automatic. So everybody's like, oh, you put him in the hospital, but he didn't have to go, but it's just SC protocol.
Hey, it's all about the safety for the players. Like I wouldn't like if they put him back into the game, I would have thought some kind of way about that.
Well, he wanted to go back in the game.
Yeah,
so,
but you gotta protect. You gotta protect your player from themselves. So,
but I'm saying that's a good sign for us for him.
But if they would have put Makai 11 back in there, I would have been like, Lincoln Riley, what are you doing? You're trying to get him hurt because that would not have been good to see.
And this is more for Wednesday, but this will be a good opportunity to get him up to speed, and let's kind of see what's going on. Right, we have 4 games to mess around if we want to redshirt him. So
and don't forget about Jay Fair though. Jay Fair was pretty good.
For sure, but definitely.
Yep. Yeah, man. Listen, we still have everything in front of us, Trojan family. Don't worry. We're in good shape right now. In a good position. After this episode, I'm officially done talking about Michigan. It's time to move on to Wisconsin. Yeah. They're not a walk in the park. The secondary might be good.
I am hearing that they might be starting their freshman QB. I'll try to get some more details on that from my guys, but yeah.
And we got to put out some good wishes towards Lake McCree for a speedy recovery. He recovered really fast from the last one. Hopefully he can do it for this one too, but hopefully he gets better. But is he a senior right now or is he a junior?
I believe he's a senior.
That sucks.
Jay Fair?
No. Lake McCree.
Lake McCree. Yeah, sorry. I just saw Jay Fair on them.
All right.
Well, I can't wait to destroy Alex Grinch.
Yep. We'll talk all about that on Wednesday. Make sure you are here. So What do you have to do to make sure you're here? Hit that subscribe button, and then that little bell right there that's right next to it. Click that too, so you're notified when we're on air, man. All that, all being said, no more Michigan talk for us. And we'll see you guys Wednesday.
Bye, don't.
On.